welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the IKV-90B. It's a Tier 7 Swedish tank destroyer. It's located on the south spawn of Cliff, and it's under the command of Deathnub. Now, this little tank has a 90mm gun, but unfortunately, no armour. Well, none to speak of. Game on! Okay, well, it was a project to make a light tank, actually, not to make a tank destroyer. Developed in 1965 to 66 as part of the search for a light tank. They wanted it to have a high-speed maneuverability and a very powerful gun. That's why it's got the 90mm. Unfortunately, the project was completed in 1966, but they didn't go ahead with the prototype, so there's no actual vehicle for us to judge it against. But it does have some good points and some bad points as well. The gun speed is very, very high. Oh, and he's got some targets already. Nice shot, straight into Super Jaffe, got a fire. Reloading. Barask just zipped over the top of the turret. I think he can hit him with the next round. Yeah, he does. The Alpha's 240 and they're capable of penetrating 210mm of armour, but the Brask doesn't really have much armour either. Oh, now there's that Cromwell B, puts a round into him. And over here we've got a Type 64 trying to cover and do some spotting. Some sneak attacks from over on the side. I'd focus on the Barras for the moment, but he's actually focusing on these guys instead. Well, he actually did hit the Type 64. Got a low roll for 226. Going back to have a quick look. There's the Cromwell B again. He can't see him, but he does fire, and I think he did hit that guy. This 90mm round would just cream straight through Cromwell's armour. Oh, that one hit the ground, but the next shot might actually hit the Barask if he stays where he is. Unfortunately, he doesn't. He dives straight for cover. Now, it does have a very good gun arc, this tank. It's got 20 degrees either side of the centerline, 40 degrees in total. The gun shell speed, as I said, is very fast as well, 1,275, so point and shoot. And that's a low roll for 210. But it's persuaded the Skoda to pull back a bit because he doesn't want to keep getting hit by that. Again, he's got no armor, so if he gets hit, he's probably going to be out the game as well. Going back, we have a quick look over here. Tiger P and a BZ-176. He's landed in a Tier 8 game with Tier 6 tanks in it, so he's middle tier. Going back to that corner. This position actually does give him some concealment behind the bushes. Trouble is that he's not really in any cover at all. If the enemy were to, the enemy Arty was to try and land a round in the usual position, they'd miss him. They'd actually get a little closer to the rock, and they wouldn't get anywhere near him. But they might stun him, and that might show the enemy where he is. No, that one hit the ground. You get 48 rounds of ammunition, so quite a lot. Now he's decided to get a bit close to the rock. This is probably not a wise move, mainly because the closer you are to the rock, the more likely the enemy Arty is going to try and land a shell directly on top of you. The enemy Arty in this case turns out to be an AMX-13 F3AM, the Tier 6 French SPG with a 155mm gun. That could be rather painful if it hits him because, of course, as I said, the armour is very thin on the IKV-90B. The maximum you get is 15mm, and that's on the front of the hull. There is no turret, really. The rest of the armour is only 12mm thick. Of course, that's the safe way to make the thing go past. So you have to listen for every large shell being fired, just in case that shell happens to be an Arty round, and you're going to have to move to dodge. He's not getting much joy over there. He's having a look towards the center line. Tiger P still hidden behind the pillars. Goes back. It is worth popping up every now and then just to get a good all-round view of what's actually going on. He's staying a bit tunnel visioned at the moment. That's what I'm trying to indicate, is if you stay focused on one spot, you miss what's going on around you. We're 3 tanks down on the enemy at the moment. Oh, it's only 2 tanks down now. And looks like the enemy Tiger 2 just got hit by an Arty round, because we're spotting him. Our Arty in this game is an M44, and he's in the usual position. There was a sighting of the enemy Arty. Actually, he was behind their cap area. Oh, I heard another rumble. Cromwell B just died. Now, he died because Deathnub did actually... sorry, should mention his name there. Deathnub did actually strip away most of his hit points, including some by a blind shot. So the good news is that that tank went down mainly because Torben did all the work. Did it again. Mainly because Deathnub did all the work. Sorry about that. Okay, BZ176 hiding behind the rock. He's actually at the center of the donut there, on the place where it goes down, dips down. But there is an enemy tank we can see, and that's a T-43. Suddenly came up on the minimap. That's why you've got to keep an eye on that minimap every now and then. Keep it big, so you can see things like that pop into view. We're now 1 up on the enemy. That was an enemy Arty round, I think, going in there. May have been, at least. Well, it might have been an M44 round. Tiger P. Oh, it hit the armor. Didn't pen. It must have hit the front. BZ176 has come up onto the donut. And we did briefly, momentarily, get a shot on the T-43, or at least sight of the T-43. He's now being chased by our Cromwell, but our Cromwell's too low on hit points, and he died. And there's the UDIS 03, which is the Tier 8 version of this vehicle. The, well, it's the first of the wedges. And the UDIS is coming straight for us at high speed. We're watching the AMX M445, but if he looks to his right, he'll see that the enemy UDIS is just below him. He takes out the Tiger 2, but now he's got a real problem, because just below him is that UDIS, and he's been proxy spotted, which means now enemy Arty will be firing around in at this spot any second. So he needs to be careful. If he doesn't move away from this spot, he's been spotted again. We've got an IS-2 coming in, and oh, there's a lucky shot there from the M44, but he needs to move now. He can't stay in this spot, because the enemy Arty will regard this as an easy kill if you can see a tank destroyer camped. Nice shot into the T-43, who gets taken out by the Scorpion. Now, AMX M445, you can take that guy down. He's just trying to get the right position without actually getting exposed. Note the AMX M445 pulls back behind the rock before a round hits him, but he is taking aim. The shell goes over the top. He really needs to use the heat rounds on this guy. He's actually using standard AP, but he does get him. Oh, thank goodness for that. I thought he was going to need the heat rounds to get through the armor. The BZ-176 took out our Scorpion. That's the tier 7 Scorpion, by the way. And now I think the BZ's trying to come around to a position where he can shoot in this direction. There he is. He does get hit. He's running short on standard ammo, so he's now switched to the heat to try and deal with the BZ-176. I guess the IS-2, even though he's pushing forwards, is the tank most under threat from that BZ at the moment. We've got no shot on him. But the IS-2 shielded doesn't have much in the way of hit points. There he is. There's the BZ. Just the other side of the donut. He actually went all the way around to try and get a better angle on the IS-2 shielded. And he did get a hit, unfortunately, because he's low on hit points now. Oh, we hit the armor of the BZ. IS-2's pulling back. I wonder actually if that might be that he was hit by somebody else, such as the Arty. The enemy team's only got 2 left on it there. There's the BZ coming in for the kill. And he did get the kill. Although we do get a penetration shot. And it is a high roll. We're going to need to do that several more times though. That's better. He got a green line there. Green lights. But he did get spotted because he was way too close. And there's the Arty rounds coming in now. Now, oh, we were in sight of the enemy. And that means now the M44 is the last alive on our team. And I don't think he's got the alpha to take out the BZ-176, even if he gets an accurate shotgun. Game over. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was the first ace tanker for Deathnub in the IKV-90B. You can tell it's his first because he got the scrolls underneath, and you only get that the first time. Sadly, though, it was a defeat. He managed to get a 5 effect for doing more damage than the hit points of his own vehicle, a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 8. And he got a Confederate as well for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else on his team. His win rate was 4,688, but it sadly wasn't enough because even though he was sitting up there in the nest, shooting at everything that he had available to shoot at, but I'm afraid, yes, his teammates rather fell apart. And in the end, there was no one else to help him. So let's have a look at team score. Well, the highest damage in the game went to that BZ-176. He actually picked up a Radley Waters medal, high caliber, steel wall, and a top gun, and 5,142 hit points of damage. The second highest damage in the game actually went to the Scorpion on Deathnub's team. He got 3,115 hit points, followed by Deathnub, who managed 2,650. When it came to kills, it was actually the BZ176. He got the Radleys with 8 kills. 5 kills went to the Scorpion. And then we got 2 kills for Deathnub and the T832 on his own team. And when it came to base XP, it's the BZ176 who scores that one with 1,647, followed by 999 for the T28 HTC and 780 for the AMX M445. And we can see that Deathnub only got 655 from that one in second place on his own team. He fired 28 rounds of 90mm ammunition, got 16 direct hits on the enemy and 12 penetrations. 2,650 hit points of damage, of which 2,407 were at more than 300 meters. This is a good long-range sniper rather than a light tank as it was actually originally designed. It received 2 hits, 1 penetration and 1 by way of splash damage. That was the enemy Arty. The penetrating shot came from the BZ with a 16cm gun, and that's what wiped him out. 10 enemy vehicles were damaged, 2 were killed, 681 hit points of damage assistance. He earned 36,801 credits from the battle, 5,040 for courageous resistance. That's because he got an epical battle hero medal, and it was a battle hero medal in the form of Confederate, in a losing or drawn game. 41,841 credits altogether, and after repair, ammunition, respawn, consumables, he actually ended up with a loss of 11,595 credits. That's mainly down to the fact he did have to fire some heat rounds to deal with the BZ176. He did get 25 bombs for mission completion, 982 base XP, well, base XP on the premium, 561 for courageous resistance, and 1,543 experience points altogether. He sent it in because it was a first stage tanker, and it is a first. It was a good show, but unfortunately, I don't think you can stay up there in the sniper's nest all the time if the rest of your team starts falling apart. You have to search for other places that you can carry on your game and ambush the enemy from afar before they get close enough to spot you and do some damage. In this case, being up in the sniper's nest when there's nobody else left on your team other than the Arty can actually be a handicap, not a benefit, because obviously everyone knows where you are and it's a very small spot indeed. And eventually somebody's going to land an Arty round close enough to you to actually do some damage and possibly take you out. And if it's not the Arty that kills you, it'll be somebody who's coming up to try and prize you out of that little position. So I hope you enjoyed that replay. If you did, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.